Hi everyone, thanks for clicking on this video. I'm just letting you know that I feel like for the first half of the video, the audio is going to be so bad because my necklaces kept hitting my microphone. So yeah, so we're just going to ignore that. Okay, let's get into it. Hello everyone, and welcome. Today I'm going to be making pasta. I've only just made pasta myself the other week when I was in Italy, and now I'm going to be doing it here for you on the internet. So first, crack an egg into a bowl. Better than I did. And now I'm just going to add a spoon of flour, and then I'm going to use a fork and just mix it together. And I'm going to keep adding flour until it gets to the desired texture, and I'll try my best to do that and show you what it is. I want to talk about some hard truths that you just have to learn as you grow up. I'm adding another spoon of flour. Something that I struggle with for a while, something that I still struggle with. For example, if I have a conflict with a good friend and I know that they don't like confrontation, it makes them sad and scared and nervous, I will spare their feelings and not say anything. And you know what that does? Nothing. That does not solve your problems. That only builds bitterness and resentment, which are bad. Those are bad things. I'm just adding in a little bit of oil because that is what the guy did in the cooking class. Just a little bit. I've never seen anyone else do that though. So that builds bitterness and resentment, and you can talk about it with a million people and just be like, oh, this person does this thing that really pisses me off and I'm so bothered and I don't like spending time with them because of this, this, and this. It's like, okay, like those are valid points, your feelings are valid, but if you don't communicate that with the person, they'll never know and they're never going to change. You have to communicate your feelings in a kind way. But if you're doing it from the position of saying, I don't want them to get upset, I don't want them to feel sad, I don't want them to think I hate them. A hard truth that you have to learn as an adult, as a person who has relationships with different people, you are not responsible for other people's emotions. You're not responsible for how a person reacts to something that you do. You are not responsible for a person's behavior. You didn't do it, they're doing it. You're not responsible for how that person responds to something that you've said. Yeah, it might upset them, but it's up to that person to decide what they're going to do with that emotion. Of course, I think we all want to be liked. We all want to be loved. We all want peace. Most of us want peace. Oftentimes, I think I do this, other people probably do it, you refrain from saying how you actually feel because you're so worried about the other person. Yes, you should care for other people, but also you need to have self-respect. If someone's behaviors or things that they've said or the way that they're treating you really is not good for you, you have to tell them, because either way, someone is going to get hurt, and you don't want that. You want healthy, thriving relationships. You don't want dysfunctional relationships in your life. Trust, it's not worth it. This looks a little weird. Don't know if I added too much flour or what, but we are getting into it. I also realized I don't have a rolling pin, I don't think, so we will get creative with this. So now I'm really just going to be working the dough really well. I put flour on the counter, which I cleaned. Yeah, I just want to talk about that because that is like a really hard pill to swallow. I think it especially comes into play having to tell someone like bad news. If we're only supposed to feel happy and good and jovial all the time, like that would not be authentic. Okay, I honestly think maybe I added too much flour, but I think it's okay. I think this is a pretty good texture. So I'm gonna put down just a little bit more flour. In the class that I did, the chef that we were working with had us use semolina flour for the rolling part and the kneading part, but I don't have that, so I'm using what I have. Something that looks like a rolling pin. See if there's something round in here. I'm gonna use this jar of sauce. Just put some flour on it so it doesn't stick. You really want to just roll it as flat as you can. Sometimes I feel like people get hung up on how upset they are at someone else. You know, like, oh, I can't believe that they did this thing. How terrible, how irresponsible. But you can't change another person's actions. You can't change another person's mind. You can't change their character. What you can control is your own emotions, your own reactions, the words that you say. Ooh. You literally cannot control anything else. Sometimes I think people expect, or at least I expected growing up, that adults would just like have it figured out. And what I realized is that many adults might be emotionally immature, might not have good emotional regulation. And that is on them to sort out. That's not your fault. But you don't want to be that person that can't handle or control their emotions in a rational way, because it is kind of appalling the types of things that people will do as adults because they just can't deal with their emotions. And honestly, it's very sad. It's okay to have negative emotions, but when it is at the detriment of others around them, that is not okay. What do I know? I'm just a girl. This is actually working so much better than I was expecting. So it's okay. If you don't have all the tools, that's okay, because you are innovative. You are resourceful. You are smart. You can do it. So, did that. It's honestly pretty thin, which is good. Again, this would be better if you had semolina flour, but I don't, so we make do with what we have. I'm going to add lots and lots of flour on top of this because we're going to roll it up on each side until it reaches the center. And you don't want it to stick because otherwise your pasta is going to, clump together. So now I'm just going to cut it to the desired width of the pasta. I'm also going to create a little pile of flour here for when I am done with it and I can throw all the pasta in there. This might work better if you have a bigger knife than what I'm using. I'm just using like a regular kitchen knife. It's okay. We make use of what we have. I'm doing mine maybe about like a 1/4 inch thick. Maybe that's even bigger than what I'm doing. I have no idea. I just look at it and I think, how big do I want my pasta? And that's what I do. The moment of truth. If I go like this, my pasta noodles! How cute! And just toss that in the flour. Yay! I made a noodle! Yay! Me noodles. It's very easy. If I could do it, you could do it. Make sure you have it sitting in a pile of flour because you don't want them to stick together. Now you're going to aerate it. I don't know if aerate is the right verb to use for this. And then we can get to cooking. All right, everyone, I have you in a very precarious situation, so hopefully this goes well. I have a pot of water boiling. Add some salt. I'm gonna put this strainer in the pot. Should I put the strainer in the pot? Yes, I'm putting the strainer in the pot because it'll be easier to get pasta out of. It's gonna go in. It's only supposed to take like 2 minutes to cook. And in the meantime, I heated up the pan and then I turned the heat off. I'm going to add some sauce. I feel like I didn't have to do this with this thing. So we're just gonna put the pasta in there by itself. I love cooking. Cooking is just a lot of trial and error for me, at least on my part. And that's fun. It doesn't have to be scary. I'm gonna take a guess that the pasta is done. So I'm taking it off the heat, and I'm just going to do this and put it in here. Guys, I'm not a pasta maker. I'm just gonna add a little bit of the water. Should I risk it and add some cheese? I feel like yes, because that always goes well for me. Sarcasm. Should I mess it up? No, I'm not doing that. I love taking risks, but right now I just want to eat. So we'll plate it up and we'll eat. Okay, guys, let's try it. It looks all right. If I had a rolling pin, I think it would definitely be better. You know what? Not bad. I love the chewiness of homemade pasta because it's just so satisfying to eat, in my opinion. Yay! We made pasta together! I'm gonna eat this now. Love you. Bye!